Welcome to this week's episode of the Kyle High Club. My name is Kyle, and today I've got a very cool guest. His name is Dr. Trebott Barry. Welcome, Doctor, and this is your first time here on the Kyle High Club. Do you mind telling people who you are?
Kyle, thank you very much for inviting me, and I look forward to our discussion and the various topics that we will be able to discuss. My name is spelled T-R-E-B-O-T, and it's pronounced Trebott.
Trebott.
And I was born in Bloemfontein in the Free State in 1938. And my parents, my father worked in the bank, and my mother was a teacher.
Okay.
And so I had a sister, and there were the two of us siblings. Her name is Olga, and she lives in the Cape.
Where in Cape Town does she live now?
She lives in Somerset West.
Ah, nice.
And I think she's enjoying the flowers at the moment very much.
Yeah, springtime over there is quite a nice place to be.
Beautiful. Namaqualand, everybody in the world should visit Namaqualand in flower time. It's just such a marvelous part of the creation.
And it's just, it's one of those places where you can see a bunch of flowers just enjoying springtime. And by that, we're going to enjoy it at the same time.
Absolutely.
So, Doctor, you are a doctor, a musician, and an artist.
Well, I am professionally, I used to be a medical practitioner.
Okay.
I was a general practitioner for 53 years.
Wow.
And then I had to retire because of failing vision, and I still miss the wonderful privilege of being able to interact with patients.
So how did you, where did you study to become a doctor?
At the Pretoria University.
Okay.
And my schooling career was quite varied.
How so?
Which I think was a rather a fortunate thing, because I started off in the primary school at the Oranje Macy School in Bloemfontein.
No way!
They had sub A and sub B in the Free State. The rest of the provinces had grades.
Yeah.
But in the Free State, I was in sub A.
Were you the only boy in the girls' school?
Many little boys.
Okay.
In the sub standards.
Okay.
And after that, of course, from standard 1 onwards, which today would be grade 3, there were only girls in the school.
Okay.
But from Oranje, I progressed to the Frankfurt.
Oh, wow.
Which people associate with Frankfurt in Germany.
No, but this tiny little place in Free State.
It's a little town in the Free State, and there my dad was the bank manager.
Okay. So did you guys move from Bloemfontein, or
yes,
okay?
Yes, we moved from Bloemfontein to Frankfurt, and there we met many of the farmers. So that exposed me to the culture of farming, not only in the Free State, but the feel of empathy that one has for the farming community throughout South Africa. We had many friends on farms.
Okay.
And what a wonderful privilege to be a farmer if you trust in the weather.
Oh, yeah. That is quite the thing to have faith in, the weather, in order to, make an income.
Then from Frankfurt we moved. My dad was transferred to Witbank, which today is called Inhlonipho.
I can't even pronounce it, to be honest. I'm not even going to try.
Yes, Inhlonipho, which is a coal mining town. I would imagine that people who live in Witbank would prefer to have it called a city, but I think it's just to settle the argument, something in between.
Yeah, it's small, but it's also not small enough to be a village,
So Witbank, I swapped language medium.
Okay.
Because obviously Oranje Meisjes School, and at Frankfurt we spoke Afrikaans.
Okay.
And then in Witbank, I went to the Witbank English Medium Primary School.
Okay.
And after another couple of years, we were transferred to Pretoria. I went
Oh,
to
wow.
Brooklyn English Medium Primary School, and then to the Pretoria Boys High School, and after that to the University of Pretoria.
So the bank has been personally responsible for you moving through South Africa and your schooling career.
Yes, yes.
And where did your love of art come in? Was it always something you brought with you as a child, or did that develop in university?
Kyle, when I was 6 and 7 years old, I was committed to bed rest for a whole year.
What?
People thought that I might have rheumatic fever. I had a swinging temperature that used to go up and down and up and down. And they didn't know what was causing this. This was in 1946.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was long even before the discovery of penicillin.
Oh, wow.
So I spent a lot of time in bed, and my mother, who was a teacher, had to keep me busy. So she encouraged me to do drawing and tracing.
Okay.
So I had reams of tracing paper, and I used to trace Superman and Captain Marvel
Nice.
and all the wonderful figures that we saw in the comics.
Did you read a lot of comic books as a child?
Yes, I read all the Hardy Boys, and I was 6 years old, and I was reading Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. And
Oh, wow. And from there on out, after tracing, you kept going.
Yes, I think I was inspired to do medicine as a consequence of that time that I spent in bed for so long.
Okay, wow. And what were you diagnosed with? And for that year?
They never really found out. I was admitted to the Johannesburg Children's Hospital for 3 weeks. And it was a difficult time because one becomes isolated. And there were some very fierce nurses. They didn't have much empathy.
Oh, wow.
And sort of elderly ladies who they appeared elderly, although I suppose they were in their 30s.
A hospital can do that to you, I think.
But that inspired me, so that I never really considered any other occupation. And so I qualified as a general practitioner, worked in different hospitals.
Yeah.
One of those was the Moroka Methodist Mission Hospital.
Where's that?
Which is near Tabanshu.
Okay.
Tabanshu means a black mountain, a dark mountain, I think.
Where's this dark mountain?
Tabanshu, which is near Bloemfontein.
Okay. So you went back that side.
Yes. Well, my parents lived in Bloemfontein while I was at university. So for university holidays, I used to go down to Bloemfontein.
Okay.
And then from there, we used to go and work as non-paid assistants at the mission hospital.
Okay.
So we worked there and also at the Oranje Mental Hospital in Bloemfontein, which was very interesting.
I could imagine a mental hospital must have been quite the place to work.
I would think that many of us belong in a place like that, but we're just fortunate to be outside.
I agree with you. If you look outside, so certain people manage their lives, you would think, how are they allowed to be outside in public? But what is one of the most interesting things that stood out about the mental hospital for you? Did you enjoy that?
I found it very interesting and troublesome because the people inside there are deranged. I remember one young man used to pace up and down, and it was a gravel courtyard, and in the middle of the courtyard was an old pepper tree, a huge pepper tree. And he used to conduct conversations with Jesus up in this tree.
Okay.
And when we called him to come and have lunch, he would ignore us. Until one day I decided that I would also indulge in a conversation up in the tree.
Okay.
And I asked Jesus, please to send this youngster to come and have his lunch.
Yeah.
And it was just worked like magic.
Would you say people with mental illness, a lot of the time, the mental illness is caused by trauma in a person's life, or what is the main cause of people panning out to be mentally ill? Is it experiences? Is it things that happen in their lives? Is it chemicals? What is the main cause of people becoming mentally ill?
I think of your whole list, all of those are factors which play a part. Some people become depressed as a consequence of circumstance, and other people are just chemically not sufficiently provided with the endorphins that create a happy disposition.
It's weird, because the other day I was sitting in my house, right? And this is a weird story, but it falls in with how where you mentioned a lot of us needs to be in an asylum ourselves. And then I started thinking to myself, what is the norm? Am I going crazy? What is crazy?
Yes.
And I was thinking to myself the other day, the fact that I'm having an inner conflict with myself, because like you said, sometimes people get depressed. And then personally me, I like to find the source of absolutely anything that troubles me. I like to go to the source, and I would like to go to the source and try to find a solution for the problem. And a lot of times when people get depressed, the source isn't something that you like. You know, it might be something that you do. It might be the way you conduct conversations with people, or how behavior of yourself. And then you think to yourself, why am I talking about this in my brain, you know? And after a while you think to yourself, are other people having these conversations with themselves? But the more I have this conversation, the more depressed I get.
Yeah. I think the essence of what you've spoken about now is to find out what the reason is. I always found in medicine also that you must make an accurate diagnosis.
Yeah.
You must find out what the cause of symptoms would be. So if somebody comes along and says, I've got a snake in my stomach, then your reaction is to find that amusing.
Yeah.
Because from your cultural point of view, that's not on.
Yeah, it's like, how did that snake get there?
But people do believe that.
Yeah.
They sincerely believe. As when they're depressed, they may think that they have something in their stomach. Some people have tapeworms. Some people have other causes for abdominal stomach discomfort. But the accurate diagnosis, the reason, the cause behind whatever you feel or think is important to establish.
I think one of the biggest reasons the majority of people in today's day and age are depressed is there's so much that can distract them. So, for instance, if you probe at the problem of your depression, for instance, I think about the way I speak to people, and perhaps I get depressed by the manner I speak to my parents or people at work. But I think most people distract themselves. They turn to alcohol or anything other, not to address that issue.
Yes.
But the issue never gets resolved, and the bigger the issue, the more you avoid it, the bigger the issue gets.
Yes.
And I think that's probably why a lot of people in today's age have more mental problems or mental issues, or get diagnosed with depression or any other mental issues, is because I think it's easy to distract ourselves.
It is so, and society today, I mean, I'm going on for 82 now, so I've seen many changes in society. And today, young people are confronted with an enormous problem in terms of choice.
Okay.
There are so many things that you can do. There's so many options for you to choose from. And it's not always possible to make the correct decision because you just don't have a life experience.
Yeah, I mean, how do you make a life choice at the age of 18?
Exactly. And that, I think, leads to a lot of confusion and for lack of a better term, depression also.
Yeah.
But confrontation with the causes is very important.
Not always easy, though.
I've always said to people, make a little list, write down what troubles you, and then write down a possible solution. Because one's mind teems with all these possibilities, and it becomes a whole whirlpool of thought. Whereas if you write down those issues, you can offer yourself what you want to do about it.
Yeah.
Whereas otherwise you just keep on thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do about this? You've engulfed in self-pity,
Yeah.
and you don't get down to doing something about it.
Yes.
Whereas if you make a list and you write it down, you are presenting yourself with a solution and a challenge.
I talked to my friend the other day, and we compared the problems you have in your head to similar to having a dog and a garden. So if you have a dog and your dog poops in the garden, let's say every single heap of poop in the garden is a problem. And if you don't address that problem regularly, your task at hand is going to become more laborious at the end of the day. So if you avoid your backyard for, let's say, a month, cleaning it up is going to be horrible.
Yes.
But if you check in every day and see if there's something you can do about it, the task at hand won't be that laborious.
You must take steps,
Yeah.
careful steps, to avoid the traps in your garden.
Yeah.
And also the same in your life.
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes it's easy to tread in something that you really don't want to.
You said the thing you miss about being a general practitioner the most is interacting with people.
Yes, I think so. I have made through all these years very many friends and a large number of acquaintances, and I've enjoyed the trust that people have placed in one. And I think it's something that you don't lightly discard. If people trust you, you must do your best really to do whatever you can to be honest with them, because that's also not always easy.
And that applies for everything.
And then to do whatever you can with integrity so that you can help them when they place their trust in you.
Do you say you kind of miss the way, because I can actually quite imagine someone coming to you with a problem and they come to you because they know you will be able to resolve it. I think that must be such a momentous feeling, being thanked by someone, knowing that you've helped them overcome that problem. And to be able to do that on a daily basis must have been quite a phenomenal feeling.
I think one's not really consciously aware of it. I think you understand that people come to you for a huge variety of different reasons. I've had people come and sit in the waiting room, and it's quiet there. It's a very peaceful waiting room. And when they come in to see me, they say, I think I'm just going to go home because I feel so much better. I've just been quiet for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's a variety of reasons why people come along and see you. And I think quite humbly, one doesn't have a sense of great satisfaction
How important do you think is the decor in a waiting room?
I think it makes a difference. It influences people. Um, it also depends on the type of practice and the nature of the people who you have who come to see you. I had many artists and people with university degrees, and then there were people who were shop assistants and from other callings in life. So there's a spectrum of different backgrounds that people have.
And they spend quite a number of time in there.
I think your waiting room must reflect something for all the people who come and see you.
I think I think any type of waiting room, whether it be a garage where you go fix your car, to a general practitioner, to an optometrist, your waiting room actually resembles your type of service you give in a way.
Yes, I agree with you absolutely, and also your interests.
Yes.
So some people collect dinky toys and they have them on display in their garage.
Yeah.
And so in a music shop, the nature of the musical instruments that you display will also show what level of service you can render in your music shop.
Amongst your art and being a general practitioner and a doctor, how did music intertwine with your list of hobbies?
Kyle, I had wonderful parents, and they encouraged music. My father was very musical. My mother was able to sight read, and she often accompanied him on the piano while he sang.
That must have been beautiful.
So it was, and at that stage one doesn't really appreciate the privilege of such an environment. But that encouraged me to do music, and I had music lessons with a variety of different teachers.
Yeah.
One that I remember particularly well was a nun in the convent.
No way!
In Witbank.
Okay.
And she was fierce. She had a moustache.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She had a moustache, and she had a ruler with one of those little brass linings on the side.
Ouch.
And she used to rap my fingers
with
when I
knuckles.
played wrong notes.
Yo.
And that was a torture.
What was your instrument of choice?
I started on the piano.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very basic instrument to learn music on.
Yeah.
But a lot depends on the teacher. And when I came to Pretoria, I had a wonderful teacher whose name was Inhlonipho, and she made me love music and made me play from the soul the music that I played then on the piano. I remember in Standard 9, which would today be
Grade 11.
Grade 11, the International Arts League of Youth had a conference in Durban. And at that time, I think there will not be very many of your viewers who will remember Kim Shippey, but he was an announcer on the English program at that time.
Okay.
And he was the master of ceremonies at our music concert.
Oh, wow.
And they had chosen me to play as the first soloist with the Durban City Orchestra.
What piece did you play?
And I played a dance by Kachaturian. And I remember sitting in front of this grand piano, and I'd never played on a grand piano until the selection committee decided who was going to play in the concert.
And that's your first time playing on a grand...
First time I played on a grand piano.
It's an intimidating instrument.
And I walked onto the stage of the Durban City Hall. I'd never been on a stage
Oh.
that size.
Trial by fire.
And I sat in front of this grand piano and I looked for the lock. because the lock was just next to middle C.
Ooh.
And this piano had no lock. And I didn't know where middle C was. And I could just feel this is going to be a real catastrophe. And then I thought, no, let me just start. If I play an octave too high,
You can always move across.
or an octave too low,
Yeah.
I can just carry on, and nobody will know the difference if I just continue to play.
And just switch the octave higher or lower.
I just play in the same octave.
Okay, yeah.
And then fortunately, I happened to strike the right
You found the right C.
notes. And I'll always remember that as a huge moment of anxiety in one's
I
life.
can only imagine that. I mean, all of those people, and like I said, the grand piano is already such a intense instrument, and now I've got all of these people watching it at the same time.
And it was a live broadcast, Carl.
No,
That's
worse.
It wasn't something that you could edit.
No.
It was a live broadcast.
Then you're thinking to yourself, if I mess this up right now, the whole entire country will find out about this.
There's a wonderful accordionist whose name is Ksenia Sidorova. Ksenia Sidorova has little snippets of advice that she gives
Okay.
about the accordion. And she introduces the accordion and she tells whoever wants to listen to her, if you make a mistake, just go on. Very few people will realize that you've made a mistake. But don't pull a face and shrug your shoulders and shake your head and indicate that there's something that you've done that's not what you planned to do.
If you have a face of confidence, if you make a mistake in music, you can just say you're playing jazz. That's all you need to say. It's not a wrong note, it's jazz.
I keep saying to people who say, I can't draw, I say to them, you can draw.
Yeah.
You will draw differently to what anybody else has done. But anybody can draw. People often say to you, I can't even draw a stick man.
We've been through this conversation, actually.
Yes. And you can.
Yeah.
You can draw, and you just draw differently. And the greatest challenge that I've had in the few people that I've encouraged to do art has been to shake off the inhibition that they have.
Okay.
They feel they can't. And I always say, if you've taken the first step, you've almost reached your destination.
Wow.
I often listen to people over the radio and over television saying, we need to. And that doesn't impress me. I think that what we need to is to say, we have done.
Yes.
And once you have encouraged somebody to shake off their inhibition and just draw anything and squeeze out some paint out of a tube and mix it with another color and see what a wonderful thing happens when you mix all these colors.
I think they can apply that.
You lose yourself in a world that is so special and so wonderful.
I think you can apply that to a lot of things in your life. For instance, progress is not linear. If the fact that you made that first step in drawing already made you a little, giving you progress that you never had. And if you draw, let's say, twice in a month, that's already 2 times more than you've drawn before. And you can do that with trying to quit cigarettes or trying to quit alcohol or to do something that you've never done before. Because I think a lot of people say, I've always wished I could do that.
Yes. Or I can't.
Yes. And I think that's a very beautiful thing to say, is the fact that you started already brings you close to your destination.
Yes. I have a wonderful chap who comes to help me and works with me. And his name is Paulus Shachwayo. And Paulus has learned that if you start something, then you've nearly finished.
Yes. I've seen his art here as well.
Yes. Yes, he didn't know that he could paint, but he can. He has had a brush in his hand and enjoys what he has created, and that's wonderful. And anybody listening, take up a brush and just mix a few colors and just enjoy that creativity. It doesn't really matter what you paint or what your subject is, whether you go into portraiture, which is very difficult,
Or abstract.
or abstract art, or landscaping, or still lifes, whatever subject you choose, just enjoy it and shake off the inhibitions.
I think the actual process of creating can be very therapeutic, whether it be art, even just mowing the lawn. The act of just doing something can unlock a part of your mind that you don't normally tap into. Because people are so busy at work, and then you're driving, and then you're making food, and then you go to bed, and then there's kids and everything like that. Mm-hmm. If you're creating something, however you feel that day,
yes,
you're physically expressing in a canvas or a piece of music.
Yes.
And I think being able to play with other musicians, it's individuals collaborating on one thing.
Yes.
And I've seen people do it with art. I've seen people do it with photography. People get inspired by each other.
Yes.
And even if I know I cannot, for instance, do a certain style, I can still collaborate and create something with other musicians and artists.
Yes.
And I would like to fall into this segment with initiative you would like to create.
Yes, I think that music is the one international language that everybody who knows about music can speak.
Yes.
If you have a score in front of you, sheet music, it doesn't matter what your nationality is.
You can play it.
You can play from sheet music. And I think music is a most wonderful bonding, to use the pun, instrument,
Yeah.
to unite people.
Yeah.
Because I have often thought that in South Africa, we have wonderful musicians. If you think of people like Miriam Makeba,
Yeah.
Hugh Masekela, and sundry others who are still alive.
Yeah.
One should bring all our musicians together. And I have an acronym that I thought would be appropriate, and that is MURSA. MURSA, which would be the acronym for Musicians Unite Rainbow South Africa. And I have a dream. We all have our little dreams, and some of us are severely punished with our lives for our dreams that we have. But so far I've been lucky, I've escaped.
You've escaped your dreams. Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that person who was shot when he said that he had a dream.
Oh, yeah, yes. It makes it dangerous to have dreams in public.
Yeah. But I have a vision of musicians coming together in South Africa. And that feeling of togetherness that you spoke about uh, putting that to the front and setting aside all the other nonsense that we have. Not that it's nonsense, but issues, so that we can build and construct positive things, especially if we look at our schools.
Yes.
I often think of the schools, and we have such a spectrum of facilities in our schools, from the very poorest schools that have to come together under a tree in the veld, to highly sophisticated and very expensive private schooling.
Yes.
The great thing about schools is that there must be leadership which stimulates volition, the will to want to learn.
Well,
I think of my mother's, who was a teacher, as I mentioned, and she said the greatest thing that a teacher must do is to stimulate curiosity in a child.
yes.
If you want to know how a thing works,
Open it up.
and you want to know badly enough, you'll find out.
Yeah.
And that is the key to learning, is to want to know and to find out. I must show you the little sculpture that I was busy with, and that the title of which is The Fruits of the Tree of Wisdom.
Oh yeah, with the tree, yes.
Yes. Now there are 5 fruits on that tree, and probably there will be many others that people may think of, but the 5 fruits that I've thought to hang from the branches of this tree would be, firstly, curiosity. Secondly, as a consequence, knowledge. Thirdly, you've got to find out whether this knowledge that you've accumulated is true. Is it the truth? Fourthly, respect. And there's a wonderful Zulu word, Inhlonipho. Inhlonipho means respect. And that's something that all over the world we need so much to display towards each other. And Inhlonipho is like a slogan, I think, that we need to learn to respect one another, one another's cultures, languages, religions.
One another's time.
Everything. Respect is a most crucial fruit to the tree of wisdom. And the last of the 5 fruits is perseverance. You can't just pick up a guitar or any instrument or anything for that matter and think that you're going to be able to play it perfectly the first time. You have to persevere and practice and play a thing over and over and over again until perseverance leads to perfection.
But I think instruments, like a lot of things in life, you can never know all of it.
Yeah.
A piano has got all of its keys. You can have a 61 key piano, and you can know all of your scales. You can know all of your different modes, but the possibilities is endless, regardless of how often you play, and you will never know enough. There's so many variables.
All the combinations, variable combinations, endless.
And with your tree, you can actually take the fruit, inverted commas, in different variables and in different factors in different people's lives, and you'll never know enough about any of those fruits because there's always time and place to learn.
I think there are lots of other fruits that you could also hang.
You can make this tree like a Christmas tree where people can hang different type of fruits on, which I think might be applicable to the tree of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah, the idea is that I want to take it to the learning centre at my old school and see whether they want to use it there. But, of course, bronze casting is very expensive. And I would like to see this piece cast in bronze, but failing that, I'll just spray paint it with a tin of gold and
There's many ways to skin a cat now, like they say. So is MURSA kind of something you want to start at schools or on a school basis and create awareness from schools and upwards?
I think there are many established musicians who could come together and make music together and create a spirit of unitedness and loyalty to a country, South Africa. There are so many different cultures, so many different languages in our country. I think just of the people who came from Europe in the 1800s, who contributed German, Italian,
to Afrikaans and all of
Dutch,
those different languages.
All those languages, and then our own indigenous languages, where people also have their differences in culture, so that the Zulu nation, the Xhosas, the Sothos, the Vendas, all our different cultural heritage components of our country. I always think that of granite, which is so hard and which is composed of many different little bits of molten elements which form this very hard and resistant rock. And I think of South Africa as a conglomerate, a melting pot of different cultures, which makes us unique and strong. And it's a sad thing to see that we are in many ways not a united country.
You know, one thing that I enjoy about being South African, for that matter, if you look at all of the flags in the world, right? A lot of them have got weapons in it, and it's just a bunch of shapes and stars and just two colors or three colors, stripes. You know, there's no creativity of it. And then you look at this tiny little dot at the point of Africa, and you see a rainbow.
Yes.
And it's exactly that. Why they call it the Rainbow Nation, it's because of that melting pot. And I think it's such a beautiful flag to have. You, out of the whole entire world, you're that tiny little rainbow in the world. And I always thought that was one of the coolest things about my country, is our flag.
Yes. We would like to see that flag as a common source of loyalty for all of us. So speaking of the schools and music in the schools, there are so many demands that are made of the schools. And so it would be a wonderful thing to see music introduced in all our schools. But pragmatically, I think that's not easily implementable, because you have to have the teachers, you have to have the instruments, the facilities. Instruments are expensive, and many of the schools don't even have money for desks. So teachers should be paid an enormous salary, far more than people who are in Parliament.
They're sculpting the next generation.
Because teachers are such valuable, wonderful, professional people. Yet I think of the privilege that I had in all the schools that I went to, where I had wonderful teachers and one or two that belonged there just because they were so awful. And one had to see what it's like to be an awful person too. So you have to have one or two awful people on your staff in a school, just so that the kids can see we don't want
That's
to be
a
like,
bad one.
I don't like to be like that.
I don't want to go to maths because I know what's going to happen in there. And then your other kids having wonderful maths and you wonder what's going on over there. I've got a friend that I've known since grade 1. And we've been friends all of these years, very good friends. And we still remember our grade 1 teacher.
Yeah.
She left such a giant impact on our life. We still go and visit her from time to time because she's your introduction to having a teacher at a school. Yeah. And she was such a good teacher because she would, instead of telling us what to do and what not to do, she always had a way to let us explore in our own way and find out why.
Yes.
And I think that's one thing that's always stuck with me throughout the years. Instead of, I'm not saying abort all advice from anyone, but I'm just saying if someone says one thing, you don't know if they've tried it personally or took someone else's advice. And I think one of the coolest things you can experience in the world is trial and error, finding out for yourself that exactly what you said with regards to curiosity, being inquisitive. Why is that happening?
And you often find 2-3-year-olds walking behind their parent and saying, why? Why? Mommy, why? Daddy, why? Yeah. And that's curiosity.
I've got, I was thinking, when children learn to walk from a baby.
Yes.
Children not being able to walk can be one of the most inspirational beings on this planet. You don't see a child sitting and thinking, perhaps walking is not for me. That baby falls on his bum, cries, try again, and then falls and try again, and then until he be able to walk, because the baby knows it's possible to walk.
Yeah.
And it's that inquisitive nature that we actually need to start adapting in our personal lives. Instead of telling us, I cannot do this, this is not for me, just to get up and know it's possible to walk.
Persevere.
Persevere. Yeah. And I think your tree is such a beautiful, motto for education. And I think not only, doesn't matter where you are in your life, it's never too late to learn anything from anyone.
It's been very difficult to make this tree, Kyle, because I just can't see so well anymore. So most of it I've just felt my way around, and I feel this is where an arm should be, and I feel, well, this is about where the leg should come out. And in that way I've put this thing together, but it's not very finely finished off.
Yeah.
Because one does need one's sight to be able to fine-tune the proportions, the anatomic proportions, and the face, and where the ears are.
And I think one of the most impressive things is some of your artwork as well. I can't even imagine you being able to paint half of the things you're painting right now still. When you're saying for your lack of vision, which is absolutely beautiful works of art. And it's such an amazing thing to see someone still being able to persevere no matter what the odds.
I think the reason is that one's previous experience will tell you what the results will be, more or less, when you perform certain actions. So when you use a brush and you mix your colors, you have an idea of what the results will be. So although you can't see as finely and as accurately as you used to be able to do, you have an idea of what the product is that you're working at.
And if I may so bluntly ask, what's preventing you from giving up? Telling yourself, listen, I can't see, or I can't do this. What is keeping that little spark of perseverance alive inside of you to be able to listen? I need to create as much as I can create, and I still need to keep going as much as I can. And if I may mention from my side, the first day I stepped in here, it was such a surreal feeling for me. It was very inspirational for me to be here, because seeing you at your age and under the circumstances, and you're still out there being able to create and wanting to create. It's very inspirational for me to see, and I would just like to know what is keeping that spark alive.
Possibly it has to do with one's background, because my parents were good examples to follow. And so they equipped me with a love for the arts, for music, and generally speaking, for society.
Mm.
And also from one's point of view of one's career. People don't want to come and speak to somebody for advice and leave feeling sorry for the person that you've come to for advice. So you have to have a positive nature. And at my age, I just wake up every morning and I think I think I've woken up. What will I do today? And I just take the day by its throat, and I throttle it, and I do what I can for that day. And I think it's important for one to feel happy about what you're doing. I think happiness very often, and I've had lots of debates about this, because people who are depressive take me on, and I say you can't just choose to be happy. But I think happiness, to a large extent, is a choice.
Of course.
You get up in the morning and you think, how am I going to get this old body out of this nice warm bed?
Yeah.
To go and do, what will I do today? There's always something to do, and one may as well enjoy it, even if it's washing the dishes. So a positive attitude, I think, is the answer to your question, that one be appreciative of the privileges that you enjoy, try and share them as much as you can, and inspire people to want to do things for themselves. I think many of us feel the world owes us something.
Oh. Yuck.
Whereas in fact, we should try and give something to the world.
Yeah.
Because that's satisfying. If your school doesn't have a sports field,
Yeah.
get the parents together. You don't need huge machinery.
Yeah, it's easy to complain and say, listen, this school doesn't have
axes, and you take turns, and you level the ground, and you get all the members of the community together, and you prepare a turf, and you plant the grass, and the grass you can get, I'm sure, if you have prepared a school ground for grass, somebody will donate the grass for you.
There's
because
also
you've made the effort.
There's also a lot of sports fields which is open in certain areas. And I'm pretty sure if there's one parent who says, listen, I can take a couple of kids in my car, there's another parent that can say, I can take a couple of kids. Yes. Those people who don't have cars or transport, we can take them to the sports field. The coach can come along and do it from there. I mean, it doesn't need to be a big project, because I know land isn't always easily accessible. But I'm pretty sure if you go to a nearby place that has a field and ask them, listen, I see you guys don't use this field on Mondays.
Yes.
What's the odds that the children who does not have any facilities be able to use it on Mondays? I'm pretty sure deals like that can be arranged as well.
Well, Kyle, if I were the king of the country, what I would do is I would, first of all, see that every school has water.
Okay.
And I wouldn't just say, we will provide water. I will see to it that every school has a borehole or otherwise has access to water. Because without water, you can't do anything else. You can't develop your school grounds, you can't have sports fields, you can't have a swimming pool. The parents can dig a pool if they just organised, if the school principal takes the lead and says, listen, parents, we need to have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And we haven't got money, but we can all come and dig a hole. And when the hole is dug, you do a stokvel. I'm not sure what a stokvel is in English.
I think that's the word.
I think it's a universal word.
Yeah, I think I've never tried to translate it. I think it's just a word.
I think it's legally recognized. But it means a group of people who all contribute towards a common financial cause,
Yes.
and then they benefit from it.
Everyone does.
So if you go as the school principal and you encourage your community to do positive things at the school, then your school will flourish,
Yeah.
in spite of all the odds. But you need that leadership.
And with I think with the lack of proper leadership, people won't unite. Divided we will fall, definitely, because if you don't have leadership to create awareness and to educate and to bring those people with a let's say a common goal together, because there's a lot of people who's got the same goals and the same views,
Yes.
but they don't even know of each other,
Yes.
or they don't even know that problem is there in the first place, or one person might see the problem being there, want to do something, but that person doesn't get the help they require.
I think water is the most important requisite for us in our country. And if there are people who are out there who would like to donate a borehole for a school, I can't think of a greater gift.
Or even one of those JoJo tanks.
Yes.
Because I see a lot of people, what they do is they put the JoJo tanks underneath the gutters.
Yes.
And if it rains, it refills the JoJo tanks, and then at least you can use it for spraying the field, or use it for irrigation.
Just water consciousness is so important. That's our first major priority, because we are really relatively a drought-stricken country.
And we're made out of 75% water anyway, as a person as well.
Yeah. No, I think water is our primary goal, because without water we can't make progress. And I would certainly see that every school has water.
If you are king of the country, right?
Right.
And let's say you have a certain amount of money to your disposal,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you've got water at all of the schools, right? But you only have got 10% of that money left. So you've got an ample amount of schools, got water, it's got facilities. What will your next step be?
I would like to see teachers in the schools. So I would like to reward prestigious teachers
Yeah.
with increases in their salaries. That will stimulate people to want to become better teachers, better qualify themselves, reach out to the children, because our future lies in the education of our children.
Yes. I think that's very important. And that boils back to proper leadership. I mean, leadership in a school, leadership in a country. That can even just be your boss at work.
Yeah.
I mean, your manager or boss at work, if you have someone who's not a proper leader, it's not going to inspire you to take pride in your work.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, even if you're just a waiter, even if you are someone who works in an office, in a call center, if you take a little bit pride in your work is not going to be that bad.
Kyle, I've always felt that there's no occupation which is an inferior occupation.
No, because you put food on the table.
I think I see these guys pushing wheelbarrows loaded with concrete or bricks or sand or whatever, I wouldn't like to have to push a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
I have the greatest admiration for guys who have to do that work.
And if you see how they fling concrete, like floors up, and then they can plaster and everything. So if you take pride in your work, you're going to make your work easier.
Admirable. And that's what we need to do, is respect one another for whatever proper and proud reaction that we perform. There's no need that one should be ashamed of sitting behind a till in a shop or serving the public, as a waiter. That's what made me think of this, that waitering is a great challenge, because you've got to be nice to people, even if you don't really like them very much because they're rude to you.
But also, if you're a very good waiter, in inverted commas,
Yes.
and if you're able to analyze a situation or read body language properly,
Yeah.
and think to yourself, listen, this is my job. I'm a waiter now.
Yes.
All right. I need to be able to read body language. I need to be able to communicate efficiently.
Yes.
Otherwise, my job is going to be hell.
Yes.
And by working and learning from people, you know how to make your job a little bit easier.
Yes. That's what I said about washing dishes.
Yeah.
You may as well be happy while you're doing it. And if you're waitering or pushing a wheelbarrow or standing with a hose pipe,
Yeah.
you may as well be happy.
Picking up dog poop.
Yeah.
Doctor, if you could give anyone in any walk of life, whether they are 8 years old, 20 years old, or 80 years old, a bit of advice from your side regarding anything whatsoever of your choice, what would your advice be?
I was thinking that if I had to give advice to youngsters leaving school to take with them into life, I would use the acronym DADA. Now, the Dada movement was originated, I think, in 1914.
We're talking about the art movement.
The art movement.
With the toilet urinal and
That's those guys.
yeah, it's my favorite art form.
They were original thinkers.
Yeah.
And you know how they got that name? They took the French dictionary and they put a penknife in between the pages. And they opened the book and then they put the tip of the knife onto a word.
Yeah.
And that word was dada. And it's the French word for a rocking horse.
Oh, wow.
So they used that. And I thought that the acronym DADA, to take into life with you, might be applicable.
Okay.
So the first D stands for dream.
Okay.
Then you get the A, which stands for appropriately.
Okay.
Then the next D is do. And the last A is all.
Oh, wow.
Dream appropriately, do all. And by that I mean, if you want to start a business, you have to dream about what sort of business you want to start. What qualifications do you have? What characteristics in your personality will act in your favor? Are you a person who does well with people, or would you rather be an academic and sit in an office, or whatever your dream is that you see for yourself? Research it. Make sure that what your dream is appropriate, that it's the right thing that you're dreaming about, that it's pragmatic, that you can implement it. If you want to start a spaza shop, are you able to start a shop in a place. Is it the appropriate place? Is it the right setting? Do some research about your dream so that you make sure that what you're dreaming about is something that you can implement and that will work. It's no good, I won't say it's no good, but it would hardly be a wise decision, an appropriate decision to open a fish and chip shop if every other shop in that street was also selling fish and chips.
Yeah.
So you must dream appropriately, do your research about what your dream is all about, and then start to do it. Because then your dream ends and you start to do. And then you jump into action, and after the first step, you nearly have reached your destination. That's do.
Yeah.
And then don't give up.
Yeah.
Persevere. Do all. Do everything you set out to do. If you want to go to university and you want to do a degree, you've dreamt that you want to go and do accountancy.
Yes.
That's what you think is appropriate for you. You go to the university, you register, and then you finish that degree. You don't stop after 6 months. Because you've done your research, you've done your appropriacy studies, and you've got to do and finish all.
Yeah.
Do all.
Never quit anything you started.
So there's Dada. That's the message for. It's a long way around to answering your question.
I would say it's an awesome answer, just by the way. I like it. Well, in high school, we had a teacher, and she asked a class to do a piece of Dada artwork, a Dada movement.
Yeah.
And I was in a ceramics class.
Yes.
Because in high school, I chose ceramics because in high school, I was thinking to myself, I can make myself really cool ashtrays, mugs. And I ended up exploring a little bit more because I spent a large amount of time in the ceramics class. And so the teacher took away the ceramics and said, make something which you feel is Dada.
No.
I completely forgot about this subject. I completely forgot about it. So the project was due in the morning. And I thought to myself, what the hell am I going to make? So I had a cocktail umbrella in my little pencil bag.
Yeah.
And my mom gave me an apple for school for lunch. So I decided to, open up this cocktail umbrella and put it right in the middle of this apple.
Yeah.
And I gave it to my teacher as my Dada project.
Yeah, and I bet you got top marks too.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And my teacher asked me, what's the point of this Dada movement? And I told her, listen, this is a natural apple. Being overshadowed by this artificial shade made by man. And only us as man can, cultivate this and sell this.
Quick thinking on your feet there.
And I was joking. I was literally joking. But the more I think about it, isn't that what Dada is all about? Just doing.
Yes.
Just creating something from scratch.
Well, the Dada movement started after the First World War because people were in revolt against all the terrible things that war brought, and they wanted to break free from those rigid rules.
And conventional ways of doing things.
Yes.
And the more I think about it, as ridiculous as it might sound, I actually think that was the most Dada thing I could have done at that moment, but I didn't realize it. And
And you didn't know that Dada was dream appropriately do.
No. I just thought it was like some lazy artist who found a urinal somewhere and didn't know what to do with it. Being an angsty teenager, wanting to rebel against everything, I thought I was, being dangerous and edgy at school. Meanwhile, I didn't know what I was doing. And it's kind of like that blissful nature of life. Sometimes you just need to live in the spur of the moment and enjoy the moment which you're in, and not overthink it too much. Just do it, like you say, and just not even worry about the consequence. I'm not saying going out in the world and robbing banks and not worrying about the consequences, but I'm just saying.
That's why I say it must be appropriate.
Yeah, appropriate, yeah.
Because every action has a consequence.
Yeah, it does. So I was just boiling down to, I think people need to still try and get me time and enjoy the time they have with themselves, and just be thankful for what they have, and enjoying the small things, whether it be washing the dishes and, driving to work, listening to your favorite music.
I think everybody has an opportunity to make a contribution towards uplifting somebody else. Even if you're the poorest of the poor, there's always something that you can share with someone.
Yes.
Which is, I think, a wonderful philosophy for Ubuntu, which really means to share and to convey what you have to give to other people also. And it might just be a smile.
Or a small little conversation.
Just an exchange. Good morning, so on.
Yes.
How are you doing?
My mom used to hate going to the shops with me, and some of my friends still hate going to the shops with me because of my wild interactions with everybody. Because, I don't know, it's probably the first or last time you're going to see that person that's sitting at the till. That person at the till is probably having a horrible day.
Yes.
Sitting there, putting up with other people's stuff. Yeah. And if you can make that person smile, and even if that interaction is 5 seconds long,
yes,
I feel that's one of the nicest things you can do for someone, is just to make them smile at their occupation or in a bad situation, even if it's just the elevator.
Even if you have nothing, a smile costs you nothing.
It doesn't. It does. Even if you just walk, I always used to like to walk past people, and even if you don't say hi, just smile at them and see if they smile back.
Yeah. Lift a hand and throw a thumb, and just show that you've recognized somebody else's presence.
Yeah. Hi, you're also a human going through this weird dark abyss we call life. How are you doing?
Yeah. And take each day, one day at a time. I always joke with my sister, because mathematicians have decided that there is really nothing like time.
Okay.
Apparently, some wise mathematician has calculated that time does really not exist. So I always joke with my sister and say that if we get round to tomorrow, it will be today. So because there's no tomorrow, we won't plan too far into the future, because there is really no such thing as time.
No.
And so deal with the present and do what you can now and live in the now.
Would you say, if you think about it like this, time, let's say time is a key on a piano, right?
Right.
Time is just basically, you know where to go find that C note.
Yes.
So you know where to go find C. But if you don't do something about it, you're not going to play that note. So having it being 3 o'clock, it's that time of the day where the sun is at a certain point in its rotation.
Yes.
But if you don't do anything about it, nothing's going to happen. So that's how I see time. It's just basically a reference point.
Yes. Trains run according to a schedule.
Yeah.
That is determined by time.
Yeah, I've always had a massive respect for train conductors. My grandfather used to be one.
Oh.
And he was a train driver. He used to take me on the trains when I was a little kid,
Oh.
in the engine rooms and everything like that.
And in those days, did they have steam trains still?
He was one of the last steam train operators in his in Transnet. I remember he used to be the conductor for the Blue Train, and
yes.
One thing I've learned from this guy, and my grandfather used to be the closest to a dad figure I have had as a child growing up. I grew up in his house, and he always told me, "Listen, if you stick to what you know, the rest will become easy."
Yes.
And I didn't know what he was telling me at the time, because if you stick to what you know, the rest will come easy. Aren't you supposed to learn other things?
Yes.
But looking at it in retrospect, as a kid, he left school as a conscious decision. He left school at the age of 16. And he said he wanted to go work.
Yes.
He went to go work. He went to the trains. He said he wanted to go shunt. He knows a couple of people at Transnet where he wanted to go work. And that's where he worked all of his life.
Yes.
But growing older, I would see things he's always done in his life. For instance, if he needed something or if he wanted something, he would make it.
Yes.
If he needed a braai, he would make one.
Yes.
If he needed a washing line, he made one. And he stuck to what he knew, and what he knew, what he meant was his capabilities, what he's capable of.
Yeah.
And if there's something he's not capable of doing, he would learn how to do it. And that was one of the coolest pieces of advice someone gave me, but I only found value in it later in my life.
And through example.
Exactly.
He didn't say we need to do this and then sit back and wonder where the braai would come from.
Yes.
He got up and he went and he made a braai. And that's what we need to be able to do in our country. We talk about our needs, but we must implement them.
It is exactly that. And I think if more people started doing and implementing their dreams, it will actually inspire people around them to get together and also do that. Because if you grew up in a environment where I'm not trying to bash other people's dads or anything, but if your dad just sat there like, "Yo, we don't have money for a braai, we're not never gonna have one, we're never gonna braai."
Yes. Oh, that's so negative. Yeah.
And that kid is gonna grow up and raise children as well. But it's gonna take a person making something in front of that person's eyes to actually show them that something can be done. And I think the unity that our world needs is people doing things, because doing things will inspire other people to also follow in their example.
Yes. Kyle, isn't that exactly what you said just now? That we must implement and do and follow the example that your grandfather set for you.
Yes.
That leadership is so crucial, because a good leader will see that there's a braai.
And a good leader will also see, I think a good leader will be able to analyze a situation and make use of what he has to achieve that goal, regardless of time and effort it will take.
Yes.
I
wonder, the word braai, how internationally it has become part of the world, because there are South Africans all over the world.
Yeah, and telling people to braai.
They don't have barbecues.
We get arrogant about it in other countries. Like, that's not a barbecue, we braai. I was that guy.
Yes.
I will never barbecue. I will always braai.
Yeah.
Take that gas thing away from me, you know?
Yeah, there are South Africans all over the world making tremendous contributions. And there are people from all over the world who have come to South Africa who also make tremendous contributions. And we now have so much of cross-pollination. And it's time that the world came to peace and stopped fighting each other and destroying things and breaking things down, and that we came to respect one another's property and one another's cultures and persons, so that government doesn't have to spend millions of rands and lots of money on gender-based violence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shouldn't have to even be a gender.
It shouldn't even have to be a thing.
Any
in the
form
first
of
place.
violence is unacceptable. Whether you kick your dog because he's left poo in your garden, you should train him to have a special little place.
Or actually just take responsibility for getting the dog in the first place, knowing you need to pick up his poo.
Yes, you get a scooper.
Yes, make your life easy. So, Dr. Barry, in closing, what makes you proudly South African?
I think it's a difficult question to answer because I've really not been to very many other places in the world.
Yeah, but what makes you proud
I only
of
have
being...
a reference for our own country. And what makes me proud of South Africa is the diversity that we have. We have so many different languages, cultures, and if only respect, Inhlonipho, became our major driving force, we would be a wonderful nation, a united and one nation, South Africa.
That is, yeah, that's an admirable...
I think that's what makes me proud of South Africa. The originality, the jokes. I mean, there are such funny jokes that guys make.
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things I've seen in my life was I was at the Trans-Oranje School for Deaf Kids.
Yes.
And they played Leon Schuster movies.
Yes.
And they could laugh and enjoy it because his movies, you didn't need to actually hear anything, a sound.
Yes.
And I think that's what made it beautiful, because he designed his movies to be funny in a way for everyone to enjoy.
Yes.
And I think one thing I liked about him is he also highlighted the culture, the different culture shocks and different types of people that lives in South Africa, and he found a way to make it beautiful. The same with Jamie Ace.
Yes.
The Gods Must Be Crazy and the Beautiful People, to show how intricately unique our cultures are.
Yeah.
And found the humoristic way to, show to the rest of the world.
Yes. That's what makes South Africa so very unique, because there are people who would differ from you for your opinion about these movies.
Yeah.
There are people who would say that they're derogatory and that they're not acceptable. But I think one would find a difference of opinion on virtually any subject that you wish to broach. There would always be somebody who disagrees with you, which perhaps makes life interesting.
That's what I like about it. People don't have to like the same movies. People don't have to like the same music. And that's why there are so many of it. You can go enjoy whatever you like.
Yeah.
And Doctor, I would just like to thank you for your time in your beautiful gallery and home, and allowing me to come inside.
I'm very privileged and very honored that you felt that you would like to speak to me, Kyle. And I think of Rainan, who said waffle. He wants to go home and have a waffle.
Yeah.
And I said to him, Rainan, there are two meanings for that word. And the other is to talk and talk and talk and not really say anything.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we were able to talk and talk this evening and say such a lot, and that you gave me the opportunity to air some of my views, and hopefully there will be many people who disagree with me.
I hope so.
Because that's what makes life interesting.
And I hope we get to have many more of these. This will probably not be the last one. I'm going to get you together and we can waffle together.
Waffle, waffle, waffle. Yes.
Waffle, waffle. So thank you very much for being my guest this week on the Kyle High Club. And I'll be sure to share your beautiful studio and all of the most amazing things that happens in here to our viewers at home. And thank you very much.
My sincere thanks to you too, Kyle. And good luck with your podcasts always.
Thank you.
I'll say that this